mentioned 30 people. What do you know? Alright. Looks like we're connected. Hello, comrades, and welcome back to another episode of Under Construction, or the Tolbrynd Peninsula Project, or whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. I could never get the hang of Thursdays. I'm actually quite tired. Oh shoot, I still got the little FPS thing in the corner of the screen. Hang on, let me get rid of that. This is a what a way to run a railroad. Hold on a sec. Nope, nope. That's not what I wanted to do. Nope. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. Can you guys see the Steam overlay when I have the Steam overlay up on the stream? Or am I just sort of moving the mouse around aimlessly? Whatever, daily challenge, let's go. New York City, normal. It's 54 minutes left. Okay. When do they reset the daily challenges? I guess at 8 o'clock? Is this based in the same, time zone as, War Thunder? I don't know where Mini Metro's devs are. Anyway, hi Orion, hi Mossy, hi Dragon. Working all last month, what did you miss? Not a whole lot, because I didn't do much of this last month. I've been very busy, and there have been things that have been coming up on Thursdays that have been taken up by time, so, you didn't miss much, but I will do a little show and tell when we get into the game properly. Of course, we are just pre-gaming. The game we are pre-gaming. And let's see if I can remember off the top of my head. So, we finished the suburban development in the swamp, kind of. That was one of the big things. And we put down a bunch of buildings in the semi-suburban areas. We did a lot of detailing work, or groundwork, I guess, around the silos in the main freight area in Bellington. So that was done. We did, I think, over the course of time, we did a little bit of, industry creation. We almost got tornadoed twice. Booked a train due to wanting to be home instead of waiting on a train for the tornado. The train was stopped. Ain't proud of it, by the way. Well, as long as you didn't get tornadoed, that's, always good. Be safe. It's because of them roundabouts. Yeah, I think I might end up doing some work around the main yard in Bellington. I don't know if I'm going to extend those tracks out. I'm still thinking about it. I think we could feasibly kind of double the lengths of those tracks without any real headache. Let's do that and that. Hey, Redding. I'm just not sure if it would be reasonable. I mean, I don't know how much stuff we're going to be moving, how big of a yard we're going to need. That's the interesting thing about this, is I don't have any benchmarks for X number of industries means this amount of yard space. This many tracks, this long, that sort of thing. I don't have any bearing on that. And I'm wondering if I should. But when designing track plans for towns and industries, do you look at real life references, or do you just wing it? I do pull from a lot of real life references, but not in the moment. Usually I am, okay, let's do this. Usually I am, oh, you know what? Never mind. Hold on a sec. There we go. That's better. Usually I'm thinking about real examples. And occasionally I will go, troll around on Google Maps or historic aerials. That can always be very helpful. Sort of, the thing with track plans, and the thing with building in trains in general that I find very useful is not to necessarily, I mean, definitely look around at real life to get a feel for what, what the general patterns are, but then internalize those patterns and work off those patterns. Um, the thing with rail infrastructure is that, generally speaking, no two places are the same. And consequently, when you go to build out a place, let's maybe do this actually. When you go to build out a place in Trainz, you're going to be making something bespoke. Even if it is a proto-lance, you're going to be making something that's never been seen before. Probably it's like chess patterns or shuffled cards. There are more possibilities than we'll ever see. So you should use Trainz for what you want for your future model railroad. Yeah, I mean that's like bread and butter, like what Trainz was made to do originally, sort of. It wasn't designed to design a model railroad, but it was designed to emulate one. So of course they're adding different scales to rolling line, I hear, so that could be very different. That could be a useful tool. Pull from real life references, but you're building stuff from the 1920s. Yeah, I mean, just because you're building something that doesn't exist anymore doesn't mean that those patterns aren't still accurate, aren't still reflective of the way things work. I mean, in the 1920s versus modern day, you're going to have a lot of differences in locomotive facilities. You're going to have some differences in the way railroads and, say, roadways interact. Things are going to be looser. They're going to be less stringent, less strict. If you're building a railroad in Trainz that is supposed to emulate the modern day, there are many more regulations and restrictions that you're going to have to be aware of, and you're going to have to sort of include in order to do it justice. When you're building older infrastructure, you can get away with a lot more. But the thing that you have to do, I think, and this is in my opinion best practice, is to work from first principles. To realize the patterns of how industries tend to be laid out, and how railroads serve those industries, and how yards are placed, and how interchanges and interlockings are generally built, and then you go from there. Then you take that understanding and you apply it to the world that you're building. Let's see. Another line is always a winner. We're going to need another tunnel at some point, because this is getting kind of obnoxious down here. 1800s engine shop near me, followed by that same railroad's freight house from the 1900s or 1910s. Yeah, and look at how the track arrangement was around those things, or how it was then and how it evolved up to the point where you want to model. That is something that's always going to be beneficial. That's something that's always going to, the design principles are going to hold true no matter what. Let's actually just do that to save ourselves the doodad. It looks like we've got a train. Sounds like we've got a train. And then we're going to do that. Purple line is not getting a lot of utility right now. Railroad largely an afterthought, rebuilt new right-of-way post-Civil War. And since you said you're modeling in the 60s and 70s, that is going to be something that you're going to have to look at and say, okay, this railroad has changed over time. What does it look like now as opposed to what it looked like then? What changes might have been made? What industries opened? What industries closed? Was it because of general economic conditions, or was it because a certain thing was played out? Like, for example, the lumber mill, which was a mainstay of this railroad, no longer has any timber, so they pulled the tracks out. And the railroad had to find another way to survive. You know, you want to look at the patterns, you want to look at how the infrastructure is typically built, and you also want to look at how it evolved over time and the pressures on the railroad. Again, from first principles. I know I keep saying that, but it is what I mean. It's looking back at your railroad over the course of thank you, Mossy Mug. Over the course of the time it was around and is around. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Yeah. It's true, though. I mean, in this instance, if we're talking about model railroading, certainly, to speak nothing of it in other contexts, only real pressure would be recent mergers of the central of Georgia and the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. That would make a difference. That is something interesting to consider. Is, okay, how are local mergers impacting this railroad? Okay, let's see. We've got lots of squares over there. We could really use, we do have another bridge, so let's do, this line is long enough, let's do this. Oh, shoot, and I've run out of bridges again. Okay, well, we'll extend the green line down to here. East or west, standard or narrow. Banging out all the details. Redding has posted some really incredible stuff in fake model railroading in recent months. Uh-oh. How are we gonna get ourselves out of this one? Alright, I have another train here. Apparently this is too much for the blue line. We're asking too much of it. Anyhow. Alright. Oh yeah, we take another line. We take another line. So yeah. I think we can spend some time looking at some of the stuff that has been built in, some of the stuff that we have built in Tolbrynd that's representative of that mindset of building your railroad out from first principles and considering the context as you go. Okay, we've got the brown line. I'm gonna need another train. I'm gonna need another train here, even though I have a line that hasn't been placed yet. This is getting busy. And now I have a line that I would like to place, but I have no train to put on it. That's less than ideal. Can I eliminate? No, okay, we've got 2 over the East River, we've got 1 over here, we've got 2 over here. This could be worse, but it sure as heck could be better. What if I re-extend you to here, cut this back to here, and then cut you across here? I'm catching up to the stream at 2 times speed. Hey, if it works, it works. I'm sure I sound a little goofy at 2 times speed. I mean, I'm a person who sounds a little goofy. Some time ago we did that watch party for we did the Italian Trainz story watch party, but we also did the going back and looking at old channel videos, and that was cringe and pain. It hurt me in my soul to hear squeaky old me, or squeaky young me, I guess. You do 2x speed for school projects? I could never do that. I don't know why. It just, like, it never spoke to me as an appealing thing to do. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just like, oh, 2x speed? No, absolutely not. That's craziness. I can't handle that. What'd you say? You're right. I don't think I have listened to Nightcore. I'm aware of Nightcore. I've never gone out of my way to, like, listen to it and sort of make get an opinion on it. It was fun to see you full of hopes and dreams and then hear you all crushed with Italian Trainz. Oh my god. First of all, ouch. Second of all, I mean, you know, it's a funny story. It wasn't fun, living it, but it's a funny story. I really can't deny that. You know what I'm realizing here? Do we have another train? No, we don't. If we had another train, which we almost do, I should have looked at what the par score was. Hang on a minute. Goodbye, whatever that is, the Hudson, New Jersey trolley, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. We wrote it. But now I've got a line that does this, because I was able to just connect two end to end. The pipes really broke their back, make the basement not flood. They tried. They were already broken, so yeah, I definitely agree with that statement. The broken pipes, the real heroes. Okay. This long yellow line is ridiculous. I've never pulled up a line in the middle of a session like that. Oh, it's getting real busy out here, though. I think the red line needs more trains. I just need more trains. I need, like, okay, yes, another locomotive and another carriage, I guess, will do. Please stop. Oh, right, you have nothing because you can't, Okay, well, now we're gonna need this again. The orange line is gonna stay over here on this side of the Hudson River. And then... what? Go here, and then... no. And then here. Why not? Wait a minute. Use your noodle. Use your noodle. Uh-oh. We are about to get cooked. Oh, damn it, I didn't get to it in time. I was going to make the red line also really long and then put the other train down here. Oh well, alright. We probably did not do too well. We're probably in, like, the bottom 20. No, we're in the bottom 40. Okay, we're close to the median. So we didn't do terribly. But let's get on with the actual video, shall we? Once again, thanks to everyone for coming today. I see there are 5 people in the audience, according to YouTube. Let's look at what we can do, and also let's look at some infrastructure. So, what I was thinking was working on this area down here, working on this yard here. Now, one of the other things that we should probably finish is doing the terrain behind the swamp. But, okay. This is our interlocking, which that's all going to have to get scooted down if we do decide to extend this. And then we have our yard track. Now, the question is, how many car lengths are these yard tracks? I'm kind of wondering if they're shorter than Ella Yard in Railroader. Which, part of the thing is, because this is a virtual model railroad, because this is something that is genuinely and completely unconstrained by real life, well, constraints, you can build whatever you want. And of course, railroads in real life do not have that luxury and have never had that luxury, even at the height of power of, you know, railroad building in the United States, where railroads, more or less have more money than God and more power than the federal government, and they can just sort of do whatever they want. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Okay. I mean, that is longer than most of the passing sightings on the Murphy branch. So maybe this is fine. The thing is, we have tracks on which to assemble trains. These two tracks here, the ones that are closer towards the main line, are arrival departure tracks. In fact, the first three are technically, although one should be kept open. This one should be kept open. So if we need to assemble an 80-car train, then it can probably fit on those tracks. I'm just on the fence. I mean, we could maybe extend this by 20 car lengths, so we would, instead of doubling it, just make it half again as long. I could use the ruler to find out how long it is, but then I would have to do math. I might as well just count. I want to know car lengths. Numbers in feet doesn't mean anything to me. So this area is kind of a bad example for a lot of what we were talking about, but it does tell us one, it is worth one thing to focus on, which is that we are not limited by any constraints at all. Any constraints that we have given ourselves, like this road is here, or we don't want to go over the line into the next tile because we don't want to build more terrain in that direction, or, we're on this side of the main line and the main line is oriented this way. These are restrictions that mean nothing. They are restrictions that only exist in our minds. There's nothing holding us to that. Real railroads, like I said, don't have that luxury. Real railroads have to build around things like rivers and roads and pre-existing settlement and geography, which rivers are sort of folded into that, and topography and all the ographies. There are things that prevent a railroad from doing whatever the hell it wants most days. Even, again, when railroads had an unbelievable amount of power. So, we need to act like we are being constrained. We need to build constraints. We need to imagine and create constraints. To that end, I try to build the terrain first and the track second. I should be a motivational speaker, thank you. But that isn't everybody's cup of tea. We don't need to do that. Hello, Comrade Pat. Let's see, hold on. Give me this height. I want a small radius. And I just want to knock down that half of a tile. One sec. Phew! It's getting to me. I don't know what it is. But it sure is getting to me. Whatever it is. Let's add another spline point here because we're going to break this up. We're going to eventually put a bridge here of some description. Oh, wait, we already have a spline point right there. If you throw enough money and labor and nuclear bombs at a problem, you can, in fact, remove a mountain. But we're going to rule out Project Plowshare for our right-of-way construction, at least for the time being. The thing is, the constraints are not because, because there are some immutable things. It's always a value judgment, and it always will be. And this applies not just to railroad building, it applies to just about everything. If you think about things in terms of a value judgment, some things start to make a lot more sense in the world. Um, but the point is, everything has a cost, and some costs are too high. They're too high for even the railroads to want to pay. Uh, you can build very difficult railroads. You can build the San Diego and Arizona Eastern, um, but at the end of the day, you might be left with a right of way that is not very useful and is very expensive to keep up, and well, you're going bankrupt anyway. No, we need to think about things from a sort of reasonable standpoint. We need to think about things as a, okay, well, what can we sell to the investors? Because even in the days before everything is a publicly traded company and therefore line must go up to satisfy the shareholders, we are still worried about getting the financial capital to start our railroad empire. Um, and therefore, we need to think about things as a value judgment. Hello, Glenbrook. Going to see Sierra number 3 this weekend? You know, you might be able to ask. You might be able to help us out if you can believe it or not. If you're going to see Sierra number 3, uh, if if you're on Discord, I know someone who is trying to find some things out. So if you are willing, maybe you could go and ask some questions for us. Uh, Hold on a second. Is Marine Trooper in this thread? No, he's not. I'm not gonna ping him into this thread because he never comes and watches these stream. Never comes and watches these things. Hold on just a second. Uh, at Marine, someone in the stream chat is going to visit number 3 soon. uh, it. I mean, we could still figure out how to transfer stuff onto here, or transfer information here if you're willing to do it. Apparently, there's no uh particularly well curated publicly available data about the about various stats for Sierra 3. Oh wow, look at this place. This place melted. Look at it. It's got all rounded edges. This is like a bad LOD mesh, but you can get up close to it. Seriously, look at this. What happened in here? The Chernobyl melt, core number 4? This is all made of corium? It's gross. I don't like looking at it. It's... Ugh. Buildings aren't supposed to be like that. Gas station. Abandoned gas station. Let's put this over here. That's kind of neat. That is actually a really neat building. Can confirm Sierra 3 did push to DeLorean in the 1880s. Oh, you were there? We found Doc Brown's YouTube account. Anyway. Okay, alright. I'm throwing down shotgun shacks. This isn't what I came here to do. I came here to talk about route building from first principles, as I always do. SP likes to use other websites and then converts them to Trainz assets. Oh, interesting. I had no idea. Today I learned. But yeah, that yard over there is a bad example because in railroad lore it was built totally from nothing. It was built whole cloth. This was an empty piece of land, and maybe we could say there was this road already here, the one that comes through this way, because this is an older road because of the way it connects to everything. But this, this might have been our only real constraint, because before, the main line went that way. at one point, eventually they rebuilt the main line. They built this yard here to handle increased grain traffic and stuff like that. And the old yard got left behind for the short line railroad, which would eventually take over the former main line. Speaking of first principles, are you going to add a plastic factory? I wasn't really planning on it. I mean, plastics in the 50s are pretty new, uh, at least in terms of mass production. Right? So I wasn't really thinking about where they would fit into supply chain logistics um, in this era, in this region. I could see plastics being used for some, plastics showed up in military applications first, right? So you could see that. I could see that. Hold on, hold on. I got the chart. There's the. I feel like there's something in this chart. There's a. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong side. The Railroad Tycoon 3 chart. Is there a plastic factory on here? No, there's just tires. This chemical plant brings chemicals to the munitions factory. Oh, there is a plastic factory. It just goes to the tool and die and the toy factory. Are there questions I could ask? I don't know. I dropped a line to the person who's trying to figure out the stat sheet. But if he wants to hop in the stream and ask you to tell you what is necessary, what the things we don't have, then he's welcome to do that if you're up for it. If not, then don't worry about it and go enjoy your visit to number 3. It's a cool engine. We will build a Tolbrynd military base. Not to go into detail, but plastic factories send receipt by rail resin and plastic pellets out. And the resin is a petroleum byproduct, right? I'm not sure we have anything that fits that. I'm not sure we have any commodity that fits that description. The thing is, right, I could, if I built an oil refinery, which I'm planning on doing, I could have it vertically integrated where it then spits out plastic pellets as a secondary product on top of, the different grades of oil. So that's, we need to crack open crack open in a few episodes of how it's made, right? Like, this is why how it's made, is how it's made still being made? Are there still new episodes of how it's made coming out? Because there really ought to be. How it's made should be required viewing for people all the time. It's it's the kind of thing that is informative and also entertaining enough to keep your attention, and it it helps one learn about the world. When I was young, I watched a traumatizing movie called Food Incorporated, which is honestly, it is a really great documentary about the food processing industry. Well, it's sort of designed to make you not want to eat food, and it didn't work, obviously, because I will still go to Burger King, but it is sort of it's the kind of experience people need so that they don't go into the supermarket and just sort of assume that the meat appears there. You know, I'm not saying that's a necessarily common occurrence, but it's really easy to be ignorant about the processes around you, mostly because there's a lot of things going on all of the time, and it's tough to keep track of that. And I don't really blame anyone for not thinking critically about the systems in the world around them, because that's hard and also sometimes depressing. But it always does help to not be ignorant, because at the end of the day, we are all we're all parts of this system as much as we want to think we are just subjects of it. Uh, you can make a difference in the world around you. I invite everyone to try. Uh, Gunda, to be honest, my go-to is really not BK most of the time. I live practically across the street from a Wendy's, but I don't know why Burger King was the first thing that came to mind. Maybe that's telling. Maybe it's not just interesting. Maybe it's me telling on myself. Maybe me saying that like the huge burgers they give you at BK are what my monkey brain wants instead of like the more reasonably sized hamburgers at Wendy's. Uh, yeah, I just I want some meat. I want that Bacon King. That's my almost every time I go to Burger King, I end up taking home a Bacon King. I love that. It's like the Baconator, but like they made it wider, and that's the right thing to do, right? I know this is not really necessarily an unpopular opinion, but like big burgers should be wider and not taller. Um, I'm more ready to throw something that you don't have. You're more ready to throw something that you don't have under the bus, so you don't have to confront it's your fault. uh, yeah, I am a patron of the fast food restaurants. I am a contributor to the system of fast food restaurants. Uh, I am a schmuck who continues to buy the fast food burgers even as the prices keep going up. I know, shame on me. I should just go to Applebee's and get a burger at a sit down place that is better. Not to say that Applebee's is like the pinnacle of burger restaurants, because it's really not. But, you can go to a sit down restaurant and get the same, and pay the same amount of money for a better meal that you don't have to eat in your car. And I understand that fast food is about fast, but when was the last time you went to a fast food restaurant and it was actually fast? You know? That's my old man gripe. There's always lines. There's always like two people working there because the line must go up. Shareholders need more money. You need to cut every non-essential person. Oh, one person can run the McDonald's? Yeah, go for it. Why not? Um, like, you know, this is what we have to suffer through. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, that's the way it's gonna be. Uh, you're gonna wait in your car for 15 minutes for your burger, and you're gonna like it. Uh, I mean, sure, it does take less time than going to a sit-down restaurant, but like, at what point does it stop being worth it? Um, a lot of fast food places do want you to use their apps. Why? Because then they can sell your data. Uh, this isn't some grand conspiracy, all right? It is like genuinely, uh, it's a money making venture. I mean, it's a money making venture on both sides of the ball, right? It is both. They want a more streamlined experience. They want you to deal with the humans less, so that the humans can spend more time making the food and less time talking to you. They want the place to go faster with less manpower, but also, if you have a ton of people using an app, you have a bunch of uh, information about the people that are using the app now, and you can, there are data brokers that'll just buy that because you can collate it and get some interesting information that then you can use to advertise to people more effectively. Um, and I mean, there's your bazillion-dollar industry. I can make two sandwiches 15 minutes or less. Absolutely, you can make. What's the John Boyce line? Uh, you can go into your kitchen right now and make something that outdoes everything on the menu at every single one of Subway's comically redundant locations. Um, and yet, ever had Krispy Kreme? Was it crispy? Thank you, Mossy. Uh, I love Krispy Kreme, I am upset every day that there is no longer a Krispy Kreme in Rhode Island, and that I have to go to the casino at Mohegan Sun to get a Krispy Kreme. Or I have to go to Penn Station in New York. I think that's the second closest one. I've gone through Penn Station multiple times in the last couple of years and forgotten the Krispy Kreme was in there multiple times and been mad on the ride home. Uh,
So mad on our way back to Hartford.
I was mad because I wanted Krispy Kreme. I went all the way over there. Um, yeah, the fact that you can order online beforehand, anyways, kind of makes it so fast food is only really convenient if you haven't done that. Yeah, it's you know, it's nice to have that option. It does make things faster. But you know what else you can do that at? Every other restaurant. And this isn't a gotcha. It's just like a what's the word? It's something I've noticed. It's something that I feel the need to point out. Uh, because sure, you can order on the app for Dunkin' Donuts and Wendy's and other fast food restaurant, and then just pick it up when you get there. Like, that's a viable strategy that will save you time until you're stuck in the drive-through line. Um, but you can do that for like Chili's. You can place an advance order for Chili's or Cane's. I don't know if Cane's counts as fast food. It's in the middle somewhere. It's basically fast food. Um, and don't get me wrong, that isn't me digging at Cane's either. I love Cane's. You know, and you can just pick it up when you get. You can go to the curbside space and either run in and grab it, or they'll bring it out to you, and then you can eat your triple dipper in the car, just like your Burger King sandwich. Uh, you know, going to the casino for Krispy Kreme and walking out with donuts but with no money. Uh, let's go gambling. Uh, yes. Um, Only restaurants you go to are mom and pop diners. I wish more mom and pop diners were open for dinner. Uh, Truly, Little Caesars will outlive us all. Little Caesars had it figured out, man. Little Caesars was on the ball back before the app ordering. Yeah, and it's the thing that I love about Little Caesars plural is that nobody on earth is under any delusions about what you are getting when you go there.
Like cardboard.
It is you are buying a piece of cardboard with sauce and cheese on it, but it's $5 and it's $6 now or whatever. It's $5 and it is hot and it is ready. It is there when you walk in. If you go into a Little Caesars and they don't have a pizza sitting on the shelf waiting for you to buy it, walk out, go somewhere else. Like, do not stand in a Little Caesars waiting for the pizza to be done. It's not worth it. You can go to anywhere else and get a better pizza. If you're going to wait, go get a better pizza. But if you want a hot and ready pizza, if you need a pizza right now and you happen to find yourself next to a Little Caesars that has pizzas, uh, go and get yourself a $6 piece of cardboard. Like, go and get yourself a cheap pizza that is immediately available to eat. Now, this is sort of undercut if you happen to be in a place that has a lot of pizza by the slice shops, because a lot of the time those are basically ready to eat. Those are basically done already. They might throw them in the oven for a couple minutes, but you walk in and you're like, oh, I want a slice of that and a slice of that, and they just give you the greasiest plate, paper plate, with these two slices of pizza slapped on top of it, and they go, here you go, and you get to carry that around a city. Um, oh yeah, it makes me think of when went to see Beetlejuice the musical. It makes me think of when we went to see, uh, when we went to go get your tattoo, when we went to go see Springsteen on Broadway, and we walked out of the place, and it's like, the middle
One
of,
in the morning.
yeah, 1 in the morning, and you just walk across the street from the Broadway theater to, uh, to the pizza joint that I'm pretty sure does not close, um, and get a slice of pizza in the middle of the night, and then you get on your path train and go back to New Jersey where you parked your car because you're too smart to drive into New York City. Uh, you know, yeah, becoming more and more minimalist is a very real thing in the modern era, right? You'll own nothing and you'll like it. But I mean, there is something to it, right? I'm not knocking it because I'm a person who owns too much stuff. I know that. I have a lot of junk and I just came into a lot more junk. So much junk that I have yet to go through all of it and figure out what is junk that I want to keep and what is junk that I want to figure out how to dispense of. Um, I'm about to have way more tools than a single person should have. What am I going to do with them all? I don't know. Maybe I should start mailing them to people in response for people mailing me computer parts that they don't need anymore. Thank you, Gunda. Um, which I should do a unboxing. Could you grab that box at some point? I know you're chilling on the couch. I don't mean right now. Whenever you get up. Yeah, Big Small is trying to sell you more less. Um, the pizza joint round the corner where some guy named Tony whips you up a hot slice of pie. Exactly. Um, you know what else? You know what else Little Caesars has on lock is their advertising. I don't know what it is about their advertising, but they manage to make everything look delicious and sound delicious. Maybe I only encounter Little Caesars advertisements when I'm really hungry, but that's my secret cap. I'm always hungry. Um, I'm gonna need to get I'm gonna get half my stomach removed, so I just stop. Sometimes the only thing that makes me stop eating is being really full. Secretly, the Roman Empire. They've survived. Yeah, they were they were the Roman Empire, then they were the Byzantine Empire, and now they're Little Caesars Pizza Pizza. Um, I don't mind Little Caesars over Domino's or Papa John's. I mean, they've got their advantages. They're really not, like qualitatively. I don't think they're that much worse than any other fast food pizza joint. Um, Honestly, I have a real soft spot for Domino's because the garlic schmear they put on the crust is like crack. Um, but the Domino's totally screwed me over last time I ordered from them. So I need a minute. I need a minute to recover. You ever do that? You ever like have your day ruined by a restaurant and then you just need to like take a break from them for a little while? Uh, you need to make the pizza joint sleep on the couch for a couple nights until you're ready to reconcile. Mac and cheese. Yeah, no, the Domino's mac and cheese is what screwed me up. What screwed me over. Like this isn't a personal thing. It's not because of my lactose intolerance. That's not the reason. I ordered the buffalo mac and cheese and the container was like half empty and there was no buffalo in it. And I should have complained, but I was so hungry that I just ate the whole thing. Um anyway, we should talk about route building at some point. I'm just placing shotgun shacks. Um anyway, okay. Let's talk about constraints. Let's see if people leave. Let's see if people enjoyed talking about pizza joints more than they enjoy about me talking about route building. Um, what are the patterns, right? You're going to be limited by, let's say you're designing an industry, right? And I'm going to keep coming back to that word constraints because because we have none. Like I said, you have to invent some. You have to figure out where things are going to go as you assemble them. Uh, as you figure out where things are going to go, you need to sort of look at the whole picture holistically, and you need to be able to let one thing influence another. This siding is this way because the building asset is shaped like this. No other reason. If this were a normal rectangular building, the siding probably would have come off here and come along here and been a typical parallel loading dock. But instead, we have this. We have this, which is a small industry that consumes paper rolls. This is a paper distributor, and this industry is served by a weird siding that butts up against the end of track. You want to have intrigue, right? You want to have stuff that's atypical, but you don't want to have stuff that's so atypical that it breaks your suspension of disbelief, and it is difficult to switch. Um, so you're going to have a lot of normal stuff. This area in this case is okay. You've got a track. It peels off the main line. It runs along the side of a street. That is a normal thing. Um, Having your rail right of way follow a road right of way, or vice versa, chicken or the egg, is pretty common, especially in industrial areas. The further back you go, the more likely it is that this track and this road are going to overlap. Um, because you have what could have been a dirt road that followed the edge of the river, and then the railroad came and got permission to put rails down directly on that dirt road. It was the available right of way. And then you start to see industries spring up on the left side of it, on the river side of it, because now you have access to the river. You have access to fresh water for certain industrial processes. In some cases, you would have access to, um, in some cases, you would have access to water for power. You know, uh, this building is not old enough, really. Well, it is pretty old. The arch windows kind of help that, but it's not quite old enough to be a water powered mill. You would probably have had something here, but whatever that was has been replaced by this much newer looking building and a small control shack. Well, this is a really nice control shack for the waterfall and what is probably a buried head race and tail race of a mill. Um, but the thing with Trainz is the most common constraint that I've come across is, what does your building look like? What are the shapes of the buildings that you're using? And kit bashing stuff to fit together is, it's common, it's good, it's clever. This building is not the thing that goes here, right? In fact, it is a furniture warehouse. That doesn't make any sense. This is not a furniture place. We also have the goods warehouse, also not for that. We have this much older building, which was clearly built along the waterside before any of this other stuff, um, and now acts as an annex to the larger building here. Um, Sherry Dunbar, I saw it back in 2019, and I wasn't going to go out into the chaos this time. Next time, perhaps. I say that full well knowing there may not be a next time, and that's okay. I've made my peace with that. I was wearing my big boy shirt yesterday, but anyhow. Oh, shut up. You have a big boy shirt too. You wanted to go see it more than I did.
That's not true.
That is 100% true.
No, it's not.
It's 100% true.
Don't lie for me.
I'm not lying. You're the one who asked me multiple times, "Are you sure?" And also, your face lit up when I talked about going to see it the first time when we were thinking about making plans. And then you were like, "No, are you sure you don't want to go?"
It took me with my brother's birthday.
Okay. Uh, Gloria wanted to go more than I did.
My
I'm not lying. You're lying to yourself. You just want a big boy in your life.
Boo! Boo this
Any,
man!
anyway,
Boo this man!
Ellis, I went over the ages of New England industrial development in my series Dawson. Neat. Wait, what? Your series Dawson. I feel like you've made references to this before, but I haven't seen it. Does anyone here speak atheist Greek? Um, Oh, the series you keep telling me about. I need to actually pay attention to that. Send me a link to it again. Uh, I can look at it tomorrow while I'm at work. That seems like a thing to do while we're both at work. Um, but you know, if we're looking at our constraints as okay, here are the buildings that we have that look good. Where can we fit them? This assumes that we've already kind of figured out where things are going to go. We figured out where the river is going to go. We figured out more or less where the roads are going to go and where the rail lines are going to fit, but not exactly what the industrial switching looks like. You don't have to plan the micro when you're planning the macro. If you figure out the general layout of your town and then figure out where your industrial areas are going to be and where the rails are going to fit into those, you will start eliminating variables and you will come to rest on constraints like building type. Um, like this one, for example. This is a cannery. It isn't set up yet. The industry isn't set up yet, and you'll notice it's a lot of building for not a lot of railroad. Um, the thing that I've noticed in a lot of industries, which you wouldn't expect, is that a lot of places just had maybe one or two locations to spot cargo for the industry. You had one track um, where you would deal with almost all of the ins and outs. Like, for example, this one. Um, this is a little more complicated. You've got generic stuff, probably boxcars, and then you've got coal. If you've got coal, it's probably going to be on its own track because it needs its own kind of unloading. This is another one that is, you've got two, maybe an in and an out. Um, Here you've got one for this relatively simple looking warehouse. But the point is that as the size of an industry scales up, like the physical size, that does not necessarily mean that the number of industry tracks is going to scale up. Uh, and I do think that your building shapes are going to inform this pretty substantially. One of the things that I could have done here is extend this track into another coal unloader the for the power plant here. But we're going to assume that this steam plant or whatever it is getting a supply of something other than coal. The other thing you want to do is, if you've got an industry large enough to need multiple tracks, you're going to want to leave yourself some room to do some switching. As you start laying things out, start to consider what you as a railroader would want for maneuvering space in the ideal scenario, and then maybe get rid of about half of those provisions. Again, it's going to be a compromise. These things are going to be value engineered. Mulligan cement, for example, we've got, we're going to have an input of sand and an input of limestone. I think something like that is what we figured out. We have two places to drop off these items. One of them is pretty close to the end of the track, so you're only going to be able to shove a half a dozen cars over this unloader before you need to pull back, stash those aside, and then put the next set of cars in. Unfortunately, that's going to be life here. This industry is in a weird sort of shape, and this is pretty much the best we could do in terms of layout. Having an industry with its own storage tracks is far from unheard of, and having an industry where where you have a run through unloader but not a ton of room to run through it is also not exactly unheard of. A lot of towns will have something like this. Go in the Midwest, you'll find them around every corner. Uh, you have a line going this way and a line going this way, and you just sort of smush them all together. You just cross them in the middle and fill out some of the corners and call it a day. But you know, again, think about what would be limiting that industry. You know, these guys are these guys have kind of a lot of space, but you don't have a lot of linear space. So you're going to have industries with multiple stops along the same linear stretch. You have a spot here and a spot here and a spot here. But otherwise, there isn't a crazy amount of complexity. Even if you were to have multiple cargoes coming in or going out, you wouldn't fit multiple tracks in. You wouldn't even have room for it. Even this relatively large multi-stage manufactory, which I say relatively large, it's really not, but it is a bunch of buildings slapped together. So it's clearly something that goes through a process, then goes through a process, then goes through a process, or maybe different iterations of the same process over time. Yeah, stuff like this. And this again, you could, because you have a second thing here, you could put this on the other side, run a pipe underneath, put a second track over here so that every input has its own track. But you got to eliminate some things. You got to value engineer some things out. You got to make it just a little bit more difficult because the alternative is significantly more expensive. This is another one. We have 3 places to spot cars. We also have a siding for storage. Nice to have. Anyway, these are the industries of Tolbrynd. That surely got a lot of attention. Our viewer count grew substantially during the course of me saying that. Welcome everyone that just joined. the handful of people. Oh, I never posted the link in the Trainz official Discord. If anybody's in that, if you could drop the link in for me, that would be very cool. Let's go back to getting some work done now that we have passed on talking about this. But yeah, looking at constraints. That is where you think. That is where you figure out. That is how you determine what your ultimate arrangement is going to look like by saying, this is what we could have in the ideal, but this, and this are reasons why we cannot have that. And that is something that I recommend you do. That is something that will improve your route building. It'll make your routes more realistic. It'll make them better. It'll give you more intrigue. Hello, trained Lego lover. Glenbrook, I am the one who is needing information of Sierra number 3, if you are okay with and willing. Oh. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was you. I don't know why it's doing everyone's handles. Why is it doing ats instead of usernames? Let me just see people's. I mean, I guess that is people's YouTube usernames these days. But like, go into YouTube, whatever you need to do, folks, and set it to something that is make sure all your stuff is in line. There are very few things where I do not have Admiral Ellis, and there are even fewer things where I have Admiral Ellis, but I don't have, but I don't have it like in as one word, right? Like, that's something that I think is it can be very frustrating to go sign up for a new website, and you go to put in your preferred username, and it comes out to like, oh, sorry, that's unavailable, but here's your username with some numbers slapped on the end of it, or here's your username with an underscore, or here's like a weird abridged version of your username. These are all available. Don't you want those? And oh, hey, Steel Beasts, thank you. It's like I just want to be consistent. I want to be consistent everywhere. And like, yeah, it matters more if you're like, if you have like a brand or whatever. My brand. Uh, if you have a thing you're trying to sell, like for example, steam locomotive trading cards at theironhorseman.com, uh, they like having the same name everywhere is useful. To this day, I'm still on the fence about what should be the Iron Horseman YouTube channel and what should be Admiral Ellis and what should be what. Uh, it's it's a little, I don't know. I feel like having the my name on the thing, but the brand is something different. It's like I'm not what's up, guys. This is Heis. Uh, it's not just Heis everything around here. The thing that is, it's not AdmiralEllis.com. Uh, it is very much a, yeah, the Iron Horseman is like the thing, and Admiral Ellis is the person. Um, yeah, there are a lot of things. There are so many things I don't have accounts on, and I probably never will. You know, but it's just that's the Admiral Heist. It's just that's the sort of line to walk, right? That's the differentiator, the person account name versus the brand name. Some people have done a really good job of seamlessly integrating those things, and they are the brand. They embody the brand. Uh, Other times, not so much. It is, I am XYZ with ABC thing. But I'm back from the gas station with 3 sodas and a Gatorade. Congratulations. Are you gonna make like the forbidden fruit punch with those and just you know go to town? Just drink everything at once. What sodas? You talking about constraints is funny because I'm trying to squeeze an ice house in the middle of an area and 2 tracks are uh, drastically limiting the head shunt. Yeah, and those are the kind of sort of real things that real railroads have to deal with, and that you should also be dealing with in trains as you build, as you design, as you shunt and drive. You are going to hopefully run into these things. And like I said, it is different than designing a model railroad. A model railroad, you have very real constraints a lot of the time. You have the confines of whatever room you're in. Uh, you have things like pillars that need to hold up the ceiling. We don't have any of that here. We don't have any pillars to hold up the ceiling here in Bellington. If I needed more room, I could grab everything and shift it over 30 feet. Um, Model railroading does have more constraints than real life. I agree. Um, the industries in Ela. Yeah. Is there anything left in here? That was some lemonade. Um, this leaded solder smoke smells like sushi. Mossy, please tell me you're ventilating your space. Um, but I'm gonna start copying stuff. Uh, let's just copy this and move it somewhere else. And let's rotate it 180 degrees to make it a little less obvious that we copied. But I think we've got enough of this area. We've got enough of the wrong side of the tracks built that we can start cribbing from our own work. Um, Anyhow, let's just grab all these. Let's do this. Although Let's see. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. And then we'll add another little road through here, I guess. Sorry, I just suddenly locked in on doing this. I really do want to get this area done, at least sort of populated with buildings, you know. So I'm gonna have to focus up on that. I don't know if this is what people expected from this episode. I did say we'd work on the yard over there, and we haven't even really touched it. I wanted to do the scenery in that yard, but once I came back to thinking about the ideas, um, once I came back to thinking about, you know what, we can't do that because we don't have a no sided thing. Um, yard now. The more you say it, the less I want to do it. Uh, the hell was I gonna say? We need to reset. We need to get back to Burger King. Should I grab like one side of this stuff? Like this? And then we'll figure out the other side? Or maybe... Oh, I'm gonna have to spin this around, huh? Or, no, wait. Oh, there's already a thing down there at that corner. If I do that. Okay. Um, the way I see it, this area is almost certainly not going to change at all, so why not just get it done with? You know what we say, any progress is progress. As long as we are building stuff, we are getting somewhere. The Burger King will marry the Dairy Queen. Yes, the royal marriage we've all been waiting for. Although, oh no, sorry, that's Baskin Robbins. I was about to say, isn't Dairy Queen like a subsidiary of Dunkin' Donuts, or same parent company? But no, that's Baskin Robbins. You can see the beautiful combinations, Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts, that exist out in the world. It is kind of incredible and beautiful that you can go to one place and get all of those things. All right, we got that. I should leave some empty holes, shouldn't I? At some point, like there's going to be some gaps, and I mean more than just the ones with these roads in them. Let's delete that, and then let's slide this over this way. There we go. Lewiston is a combination Tim Hortons and Cold Stone Creamery. Oh, so there's competition. That sounds great. More combination restaurants. Has anyone here heard about the IHOPPLEBEES? Because that's a stroke of genius right there. It's a IHOP in the morning and an Applebee's in the evening. Like, what brilliance, right? I mean, they have the same parent company, so they can get away with it. It is, oh, IHOP doesn't attract customers in the afternoons and evenings, duh, because it's a pizza joint, because it's a breakfast joint, it's a pancake house, it's a house of pancakes. Uh, it, you know, of course, it doesn't attract much in the way of customers. Even the ones that are open 24/7 are kind of deserted. Um, Outside of breakfast hours. They tried to do International House of Burgers that one time. Remember that? That was weird. Uh, that said, the burgers, not bad. Can't really complain about the burgers. It's just kind of a strange pivot. Um, but, you know, Applebee's obviously has no breakfast menu. So why not do IHOP stuff in the morning and Applebee's stuff in the evening? I mean, if McDonald's can manage uh, having a breakfast menu and then a not breakfast menu, if Wendy's can handle doing that, then surely this combination restaurant can manage that. Oh yes, the McDonald's barge did sank. A moment of silence for the McBarge. Uh, Orion says I hate the idea mentally, and it's like, yeah, it's an unsettling thought in a way, right? It is like, hey, that's not supposed to be like that. That's not right. There shouldn't be an IHOP and an Applebee's together. Those are two distinct and separate things. Why would you put them together? And it's like the reason is because they're two distinct and separate things. That's why it's a excuse me. That's why it's a good idea. Because you'd never you'd never interchange them. So you can, you know, alternate them. You do one and then you do the other. It's very clever. Uh, and honestly, I think the first one is in Texas. Hopefully, it goes well so that we can get more IHOPPLEBEEs. Um, the other thing, like it's a it says something about the industry that it's like we need to save on land use. We need to save on land use. We need to make our expenditures on space, on physical restaurant space, go down, and we don't want to we don't want to leave certain regions or whatever. So we're just gonna consolidate the restaurants in a very unusual manner. Me when I order my pancakes at 11:59 a.m. and I see my order has been changed to a quesadilla. Uh, we do need more Waffle Houses. We need more Waffle Houses. We need more Sheets. We need more Bojo's Pizza. What restaurant do we need more of? Sushi restaurants. I can't really disagree. I love a new sushi restaurant because the thing about sushi is that every place has its own take on sushi rolls. Like here, like which ones are the normal ones and which ones are the special ones and how they do them up. Like I have never been to a sushi place with the same slate of sushi as another sushi place. It's just the medium is so good at being interchangeable. It's fantastic. Um, you're not getting any of that. We need more aroma joes. What is that? What is that? They just scooped a pig out of a thing.
I guess some village was kind of flooded, and they used an excavator to rescue the pigs from the flooded village.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Using an excavator to rescue pigs from a flooded village. The claw. More rainforest cafes. I can't remember the last time I've been to a rainforest cafe. You know what the world needs more of? The world needs more of Margaritaville. Not for the food. The restaurant from South Park. I don't know. I wasn't really a big South Park watcher. Um, Casa Bonita? Do you or do you not? Can Tolbrynd be canonically the first place a rainforest cafe opened? Yeah, and then a portal opened up in the real world and a rainforest cafe fell through um to our world, and that's how they came into existence. But yeah, no, we don't need more Margaritavilles for the we don't need them for the food. God knows we don't need them for the food. We need them for the vibes. To get through another day in this world, sometimes you just have to think it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm pretty sure I went to the one that Cartman specifically went to in that episode. That's funny. Um, go to the Margaritaville in Times Square. All right, it's time for the unboxing stream.
don't stop.
I know. I received a box I'm covering Gunda's real name. Uh, let's see. Baby, can I have the pineapple knife, please?
Oh my God, my God.
I have to get up for that.
Okay.
I don't want to get up for that. I don't want to get up. You lied to me. I don't know where it is. Well, that's not the pineapple knife. Knife. I'm trying to be, Well, that's a shame. It'll turn up.
Wait,
Letter opener is not. What?
where's the letter opener? Oh, you have it.
This letter opener is so dull.
Well,
Either that or gonna put the best tape ever on here. I'm gonna stab myself. Watch this. This is gonna be the first episode of Under Construction that ends with me going to the hospital. I'm struggling with this box. There we go. Okay. I'm just ripping the box in half. Come on, the tape needs to just give way. What adamantium tape did you put on here, dude? I need scissors. Wait, let me see if I can just. There we go. There we go. Okay. Hi, Lafayette. Okay, so we have a box. Let's see what's in the box.
what's in the fucking box?
I mean, this is just, something that, frankly, it's something that one of you guys mailed me. It could be a bomb.
I feel like it would have exploded by now, no?
What if it's? Yeah, I mean, maybe. Oh my God, it is well packed. This is like Christmas. I'm gonna try not to manhandle it because I'll feel really bad if I'm the one that breaks it. I have never mailed anything with this much package. Oh, this is a little card too. Oh my God, it just keeps coming. I'm just gonna have to start throwing stuff on the ground. Not what I want to do. It's my house. I own the floor. Oh my God. Oh, what was that? Oh no, never mind. It was just some packing material. Okay, I've made it down to the bubble wrap. I just knocked something off the table. That's my cup of ginger ale. You weren't kidding when you said you packed it really well. I can't see the chat right now, though, just for the record. So if anybody's saying something funny, I'll get to it. Oh, and you put it in a bag. Okay. Well, here it is. 50/70, right? Oh, 50/60, sorry. Better than the 1070 that I'm rocking right now, that's for damn sure. And let's see, it'll fit like that. Plugs on this side, fits right there. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. You can stop looking at my pajamas now. I work from home. Why would I put normal pants on? Don't judge me. That's a mess. Okay, let's hide the giant webcam. There are two things in the box. Oh, there is another thing in the box. What is in the box? There's a box in the box.
That's the love.
Oh, it's a mouse. How about that? Very neat. The Basilisk V3. It looks like it has fancy extra buttons too. Uh, Hyper Scroll. This is a little rich for my blood. I haven't had a mouse with an extra button on it in forever. I'm definitely gonna hang on to that for when this thing dies because it's not doing so hot. The mouse that I'm currently using right now. Oh, we got a train on the cam. The mouse that I'm currently using right now is an M100 Logitech mouse, which is a remake of the N100 mouse that came with this PC. I don't know if it was originally a Hewlett Packard design or originally a Logitech design. Okay. I I think that was all the stuff that I took out of the box. Now it's back in the box. Um. Okay. All right. How about that? Oh, that's the mouse you have. Okay. Well, if I have any questions, I know who I'll direct them to. Uh, I really appreciate that, man. That is really, really generous of you. I have always depended on the kindness of strangers. Not that, you know, you can stretch that saying a little bit, but I've always depended on the kindness of people. Okay. What is next? We have maybe half of this area done, and we can do more with what we have built. I feel like this this slate of stuff that we have is enough to finish this area in relatively short order. Um, and the smaller granules we take, the harder it will be to make it seem like we're just copy pasting. So, okay. Well, I probably want a pretty big granule for this. Or let's grab this one. We haven't used this one in a while. This is like, you know, the king of the neighborhood, right? And let's go kind of far afield for the next set of things. Oh, you know what? Get rid of that. Just one thing at a time. I would definitely say be careful about putting your email in YouTube chats, but you know, there's a spam button and filter in your email for a reason. You know, just know that no one here on the stream is about to discover that they're related to, you know, Nigerian royalty or anything like that, or that you just won a sweepstakes that you didn't know you applied to, or like, you know, there's a rich person that wants to donate all their stuff, but they have no heirs, so they just picked your email at random. That isn't a thing. Don't fall for that. If you're putting your email out into the world, don't assume that the people that find it are who they say they are. Certainly not people called Lego Train Lover. That's for you and it's for everybody. I mean, I feel like it's got to be said. I assume people generally have their wits about them, but I also assume that the more that that sentiment is broadcast, the more that those facts are nailed down, the more likely we are to catch ourselves when we find ourselves vulnerable. As savvy as one can be, we will always be vulnerable to something. And, you know, it pays to watch your back, but it doubly pays to be aware of the fact that, you know, you're not invincible. I have gotten got before. There have been times where I was dealing with ransomware and I thought it was legit. I thought it was a real antivirus software that had, you know, that was like, yeah, you've got viruses, you got to pay to get rid of them or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's how convenient, how helpful. And it's like, well, where would this antivirus software come from, right? I didn't even think about it, but you live and you learn. Okay, let's put this over here. We are almost full up on this. This has been more fun than doing that, but I mean, we still need to do sort of junk and debris, and um, we need to do junk. We need to do debris. We probably need to delete maybe a handful of these buildings, like delete that, um, delete this one, just to break these up a little bit, where we have long lines of houses, long lines of these shotgun shacks. It makes sense to break them up a little bit to make things a little bit more dynamic. It also helps with what we're doing, right? It helps um, to make sure that the copy and pasting isn't so obvious, and to let the space breathe a little bit. Um, the thing that I've noticed is, in most places, even in major cities, you look around for long enough and you will find nothing space. You'll find something that is going to be under development but isn't yet. You'll find something that is supposed to be a building but is a parking lot instead. You'll find something that is just an empty square of dirt with an uncertain future. That kind of thing happens. It happens with a reasonable frequency. All right, let's see. I want a couple of trailers to drop into this area. And sure, it might not really happen with the frequency that we necessarily have it here. Like every stretch of every neighborhood, you don't have to look too hard in Tolbrynd to find one of these houses that's just like an empty, overgrown lot, like this one, or not empty but overgrown. Is there an F-22 flat car? That's a good question. I don't think I have that. No, I don't have that. That's a center flow hopper. Let's look on the download station. F-22. Download station. Don't see anything like that. Not even anything close, unfortunately. Can't help you there. Also, the sparseness on this side of the road I kind of like that. We're going to have to do more with that. Hi, Lafayette. You know what's funny? It's funny how much smaller that graphics card is compared to the one that I currently have in here. The one I have in my computer right now is huge, and the one that is in Gloria's computer is even bigger. It's kind of incredible. Gloria got that one in part because I couldn't fit it in this PC. That's what happens when you have a case from 2011. Also, I saw that we shall wound better than ever before. If I can get my hands on a new CPU, or new, something newer than 2014. That will make a pretty substantial difference to the wooning. Yeah, I know. You can miniaturize stuff better than you could before. Things get more space efficient. But every, you know, every card that I've had up to this point has been increasing in size. Every new one has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's a nice change of pace uh, to have one that got smaller because I didn't expect that. You keep recommending me Micro Center, but I don't plan on buying anything new. Um, there's, you know, I have no interest. Uh, I have no interest in new purchasing computer parts that are not hard drives. Uh, I will gladly sort of go around like Squidward with the empty can. And oh, does anybody have an old rig that they sort of put aside? It doesn't even have to work. I'll just take the processor. Um, a refurbished part maybe I could be interested in. It would be nice to have something that actually fits my case insofar as the plugs, because currently my power button is just hanging out of the side of the PC. It's not it's not plugged into the actual power button on the front. Um, let's see if we can get some houses that might look appropriate along this road over here. How about these two? Dreams graphics card uses an EMD 765 engine block. Well, that definitely wouldn't fit in my case. I don't actually know where the nearest micro center is to me. It is probably in Mass, yeah. Mass had a bunch of little sort of local electronic stores that existed. Oh yeah, rest in peace Radio Shack. I loved Radio Shack, especially when I was in college because you could just go and get electrical components like transistors, resistors, capacitors, just like out of bins. Very nice. There is in fact a micro center in Cambridge. Yep. I mean, the thing is, I could theoretically go there on a day that I went to the office, um, and just sort of poke around. It might be fun. I mean, I haven't gone to a computer store like that in a million years. You used to go there all the time. That one specifically, or just Micro Center in general? All right, let's do that. It's kind of neat if it's that one specifically. That's Radio Shack. Uh, yeah, Radio Shack. Rest in peace. It was the best of us. Now you can just buy crap online and it's broken. um, do the bundle deals on the parts you need. I need to go and buy new hard drives. They were starting to act real shugly the other day. Part of it might have been because my computer had 98 straight days of uptime, but you know, I'm sure that didn't contribute too much. But really, uh, the the you know, the hard drives that I spent so much effort trying to get and never got, uh, those are like my first priority, and those are of course something that you need to get new because you can keep a processor running for a real long time past its expected lifetime, and then when it dies, and you replace it. If your hard drives go kaput, you're in hot water. Especially if you have something like a many hundreds of hours mega project. My SSD does need to be replaced as well. I'm currently tonkaing my hair out. Uh, I'm so concerned for the second Luna Locomotive Works catalog. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really excited for it. She does awesome work. Uh, and the first pack was fantastic. But I am so nervous that it's going to explode the balance of LRP again. Um, Two worst things to buy at the moment, sadly, is storage and RAM. Yeah, and the thing is, if I do replace my CPU and, of course, consequently have to replace my motherboard as well, I probably want to find something that can hold DDR3. Because I have so much DDR3. Uh, I only have a little bit of DDR4. Most of it is Inglorious Computer, and some of it is laptop memory. So that's useless to me. Um, I have no use for, I have no reserve of DDR4. I just gave the rest of it away to somebody who needed it more than I did because I use DDR3. Um, that would be Title Safe Productions on YouTube. Definitely check them out. Um, their big boy video is a lot of fun. Uh, and it's like a 40-second video too. Like you don't, if you watch it and you don't like it for whatever reason, I'll give you your money back. Like it's worth checking out. Uh, it'd be kind of neat if they showed up. Uh, anyhow, that's not too loud. The DDR4 is doing work over there. Over here, I have four RAM slots. Two of them, I've got 2 sticks of 8 and 2 sticks of 4. So I have 24 gigs of RAM, which is a weird number. I realized the other day that I have more. I have a pair of 16 gig sticks. Um, so I can go from 24 gigs of RAM to like 56 gigs of RAM. Something that I've been meaning to do, but I just haven't felt like turning the computer off, tipping it on its side, and uh, messing around in its guts. I will do it eventually. Um, but yeah, I have 3 storage devices in this PC. I've got an SSD for the OS, and I have 2 hard drives. I've got a 2 gig and a 4 gig. Or sorry, 2 terabyte and a 4 terabyte. Yeah, 2 gig. What year is it? Um, and I would like to replace them with a pair of 8 terabyte hard drives and use one as the backup drive and just have it, not like a RAID array, um, because that's a little too rich for my blood. I don't feel like figuring that out. But just once a week it backs up one drive to the other. Uh, that would be fine by me. And then if one explodes, I can just revert to the other one. My PC is taxiing for takeoff. Are you loading into Trainz? I see that. I see you, Mossy. I kind of miss Woon. I do too. Um, my wife is trying to keep me from wooning, which is fair because when I start wooning, it takes the rest of the night. So there probably is going to be no wooning today. What I might do is I might spend some of tonight spiffing up the SAR stuff if that still looks like it's going to win the playdate. Last time I checked, it was in the lead, which is nice. It would be a nice change of pace. It would be fun to, get the little microcosm of the 2-week Minecraft binge. I love a little bit of Minecraft. Hey, play my single player. Have fun. Have fun, good luck, don't die. Don't explode your computer too hard. The wound, not for the faint of heart. Uh, Also, can you explain SAR to those of us who know absolutely nothing about it? Yes, it is a very simple Minecraft minigame. The goal is to assemble the Tower of Pimps. The Tower of Pimps is a gold block, or sorry, is an obsidian block with 4 gold blocks on top of it. Um, if you are the SAR, you give out tasks to all the other players. The first player to complete that task gets a gold block to add to their tower. When the tower is complete, or when a player completes their tower, they win and they will be the SAR next time. If you don't want to wait that long, you are allowed to kill the SAR and become the SAR, but that means you will not be able to win. Uh, the SAR is allowed to enforce their rule in whatever means necessary, and basically what they say goes for the entirety of the game. Um, so, killing the SAR is not encouraged, but it is a thing that you can do. Generally, the SAR starts with starts with some gear, and everyone else starts with none gear, none pizza, left beat. Um, Whoops. So, it's a competitive game. Uh, the rules on top of those are whatever the SAR decides, whether that be, like going after other players is allowed, or uh, or not, or accessing. The SAR map has a large mansion that is built just for the SAR that has all crafting stuff inside of it, and supplies and resources, and access to that is governed by the SAR. The SAR, of course, can if you are not abiding by the rules, they could just not decide to exclude you from a challenge, not give you your gold block, whatever. Um, what they say goes. So, yeah. Again, the gist is the SAR gives out instructions. The players try to. The SAR gives out tasks. The players try to complete those tasks as quickly as possible. And the people who finish the tasks the fastest pile up gold blocks, and you win if you get 4 of them. Okay. Would you look at that? We've filled this mostly. I still need to fill in this here, I think, or at least some of it, and maybe this here. Let's just move this over here, this pair. Also, I need to sit straight up. Yeah, good old little Minecraft minigame. I thought about doing it on the create server, but we have the map still. Oh, my neck. Oh, snap, crackle, pop. So, fingers crossed we get that. Helps the Minecraft binge, like I said. Currently, it is still winning. And second place is Nick's Rare Order save, and third place is Thousand Uncles, which I would be very happy if we got 1,000 Uncles. I love that. That's a lot of fun. And that's free, importantly. Alright, control drag for this. This is great, though. I don't know how I'm going to texture it. I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. I think I'm going to leave that for now. I need to find something else that grabs my inspiration. We need to move on to the next task today. I don't know what exactly that's going to be, because nothing is super grabbing me today. Do I have any more water? No. We can do the fences on these guys. That way we can sort of try to figure out this whole area. Or finish figuring it out. Somebody's getting... Get out from under my desk. Well, Lafayette cannot be under there. He's going to sit on the speaker wires. I have been so silent today because of the ice house I mentioned. Listen, as long as you're working hard on the Breen Company ice house, that's good. Make some progress. Make your own brand of progress. Okay. Do that. And then what are we doing over here? This area stuff is so crammed in. I probably need some white picket fences or something. This can come out to here. Carry freight via hot air balloon. You carry ice via hot air balloon? That seems ill-advised. I'll say again, something we need to do for a community playdate is just John Boyce videos. Because I have the missing episode 4, Stanislav Petrov. And also, I just want to show everyone, like, Larry Walters as a flying chair and a BB gun, and God Hates a Coward, and, you know, all these one-offs. Lonnie Smith video, yep. Search for the saddest punt. That's a pretty good one. Search for the Saddest Punt I have not watched in a while, but honestly, it might be sort of a sleeper favorite of mine, because it has an ending like nothing else. There's also Section 1. Section 1 is the best John Boyce video to introduce somebody if they've never seen it before. It's the amount of whimsy that you want. If you're introducing him to somebody that that is not a super whimsical person, and maybe is more of a sports fan, you go with that one. You go with Section 1. But if you want to introduce somebody to him and be like, this is John Boyce at his pinnacle, if you've got an hour and a half, watch the Bob Emergency. The Bob Emergency is so good. Has no right to be as good as it is. Has no right to make me cry, right? And then once you've got somebody hooked, then you can show them, like, then you can show them, you know, the Mariners documentary, or Fool Time, or Captain Ahab / Meet Dave. Suction Cup Man. I do still need to show Gloria Fool Time. I've been sort of waiting on the right moment to do that. But that's because we enjoyed Captain Ahab as much as we did. Captain Ahab is a fun series. I mean, it's fun in a sense. It's kind of crushing. It's fun but sad, yeah. Poor Dave. Poor Dave Steve. Never got the respect he deserved. Alright, let's do this. This is totally off topic, but, like, have I ever shared the fact that I'm making the largest Talking Train series directory doc archive? No. I don't think you've ever mentioned that. That sounds really neat. I love a good archive. Is it in spreadsheet form or what? Okay. These are all going to be chain link fences down at this end. I can link them in the thread. You're welcome to do so. It's just links. I mean, links are still good. Links are important. That's better than I'm doing for largest rarity possible, I'll tell you that much. At some point, I am going to have to sit down and figure out what all the mods in the pack are. I keep talking about doing this 5-part series, what is the largest rarity possible. which I should probably do before Maintenance Away comes out and the video series of that becomes completely useless. Um, Completely pointless. But like, I was going to do it as streams, but I realized that I would get so distracted with the stream. Like there would be no advantage for me to do it as streams. One of them is going to be streams, um, for sure. Uh, but I think it's going to be a five part series. Part one is going to be, you know, what is the largest rare possible? Just like talking about the pack, and the general themes, and okay, hang on. Talking about the pack and the general themes, and sort of what was selected and what wasn't. Uh, Episode 2 is going to be getting started in the largest rarity possible. Uh, Episode 3 is going to be sort of the inspiration, like talking about why I made it. Episode 4 is going to be the mod list, just straight away, just going down the list. Um, and a little bit about each one, probably, if I can talk about it. Of course, some of them are going to be fairly simple, like this is this is another flat car from Route of the Whippet. They're really nice, and then just sort of move on to the next one. And then the fifth episode is going to be the Q&A, and the Q&A is going to be live, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I feel like it should be. What's up? You found Peridot. Very good, Claude. I just bought a locomotive in LRP and it went all the way to Asheville. Are you playing in Sandbox? Why do you have Asheville on? Check your interchanges. It shouldn't show up somewhere where you don't have an active interchange. Easiest way to check which interchanges are active are go into your cross traffic settings and it'll show up there. But I have never seen anything show up in Asheville outside of like Sandbox. Okay. I don't know how you managed to have Asheville enabled. I would definitely turn that off before shenanigans happen. Okay, let's see. What do we got down here? Again, I'll say I wish I could. I mean, I guess I kind of am now, right? I wish there was a game that was the largest rarity possible, but without any of the trains, just without any of the driving. It just, all you have to do is worry about the management decisions, the dispatching, the train mastering, the turning contracts on and off, and buying stuff and gambling. I would love that. I love LRP because it adds to the management side of Railroader. There we go. Oh my god. Somebody's sad. Come here, pup. Don't let me run you over. No, no, no. Come here. Hi. Broken and still running. If only I was a lefty. This would be a lot easier. Let's, I'm gonna need somebody to hold down the, yes, and DT. I think that's already taken. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You just need to chill out. It's gonna be okay. Look over there. Good boy. Okay. Woo! Onto the couch he goes. Um, I think you should hit the randomize button 5 times, and then go from there. Also, you should just like look at check for other people that have LRP saves. There are other people in the Discord that, like the largest rotor possible, have their own saves and want help. Um, but yeah, no, I think I could manage it. I would have to. The thing is, I have to sit down and like plan it a little bit and figure out my talking points, because I'm pretty good at rambling freeform. But I want this to be something where I want this to be something I can point at. Um, and I could say, oh, I'll just do a mini series. I'll just do a few episodes, and when it's done, it's done. But see ya, Ryan. Um, but I want to make sure that I hit my points, and I want to make sure that it's something that I can sort of point people at when they're like, well, is there any largest rare possible content? Like, what is this about? Um, you got thunderstorms going on? Jealous. Okay. This can go here. Thunderstorms and no rain. Cool. A little dangerous, but cool. Yeah, I want to make sure that I hit my points. I want to make sure that I cover all the stuff that's in the pack. I want to make sure that, sort of the gist of it anyway. I want to make sure that I cover all of like the things you should do when getting started. I want to make sure I cover my inspiration and sort of my thoughts about why, why did I do this? And it's not just because I wanted to see the line go up. It was sort of a part of it is, of course, I wanted to see if I could. But the other part of it is that I have made something that creates and it's mostly not the fact that it's very large, but I have something that creates a very different kind of experience with a lot of decisions and a lot of a lot of potential pitfalls, something that you don't really get in Railroader. In vanilla Railroader, it's hard to dig yourself a hole that's too big to dig yourself out of. In LRP, I mean, just ask Bender how his first day went. You turn on too many industries, and all the interchanges just overflow immediately, and then you have a bad time. I feel like I want to do something else though tonight, so there will not be a post under construction wooning, just as there was not a pre under construction wooning. What should I set cross traffic settings to? At the beginning, I would just make sure that it's. At the beginning, I would just use it to check which interchanges are active. Personally, I don't use cross traffic on the Connolly interchange because it's a lot of cars, and the interchange is small. So the percentages are just the volumes. Like, they don't have to equal 100% or anything like that. You could keep it all at 100% as long as you're not using it. If you want, if you want it to be balanced across all of the interchanges you have available, then yeah, leave everything at 100%. If you wanted to ignore a certain interchange, you set that interchange to 0 inbound and outbound. If you want it to only flow one direction across the system, you can set that so it's 0% out of one interchange and 0% into the other, and vice versa. Um, that that's totally valid. I have done that. We did that we did that on the Woonasquatucket at the beginning because I wasn't confident in having the motive power to have locomotives bring stuff up the hill in that kind of quantity. I figured, oh, you know what, we'll just have to get by with stuff coming down the hill. ISO, you did kind of come to the end of the stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the stamina to run us all the way to 10 o'clock. My throat is sort of getting a little rough. But I'm glad you came anyway. It's always nice to see familiar names and faces. Or profile pictures. Even though I can't see the profile pictures because they're buried. Whoops, I just grabbed a housing development. How's that for a brand new sentence? I also had to take a nap earlier. I was tired. Maybe it has something to do with all the wounding last night. Well, as long as we do hear 3 of your names in the stream, I think you can make it to. Oh, okay, yeah. As long as I don't get full named by my wife. Yeah. What are you gonna do about it? Okay, and then what? Yeah, you're gonna throat chop me? Okay. Running into Ela at 0.3 tons of coal. Sub ideal. Less than ideal. Subpar. Okay, there we go. The other thing I like about the largest railroader possible, and it's true of I kind of want to make a pack that is LRP, but without the L. It's just like the most complex version of railroader you can make. I would like to make that. It would basically just be LRP, but without any of the map mods, which would be substantially slower, because of the, you've got fewer industries. You're going to make less money. Railroader possible, yeah. The derailment mod makes the beginning re-rail extremely difficult. Yeah, you need a crane. You fully need a crane in order to re-rail the starter 040. My recommendation is either you bite the bullet, take out the loan, get the crane, and then there you go. Those are your locomotives. Or you just grab something off the used market and leave the 440 there for a while. I can almost guarantee you that whatever you find on the used market will be more capable than the American 440, or than the 1800s 440. Like, almost guarantee it. But then I can't do the Whittier Sawmill. Yes, you can. You can totally do the Whittier Sawmill. You have like 3 or 4 car lengths a minimum. And if you really need to, you can take whatever your new locomotive is and shove the 440 into the end of the track, along the ground. It will move, just with some effort. That's my recommendation. And that's something that I'm definitely going to have to mention in the video when I do it. Is just like, yeah, this is when you start LRP, and so I'll give the minimum. I'll give the minimum. The minimum number of batters right now. The minimum amount of information. When you start LRP, there are a couple things that you need to do. One of them is fixing the fines and bonuses mod. turning off the speeding fines and then tweaking it to whatever else your liking is. Uh, Turning off Ravenford Max interchange and whatever other interchanges you don't want to deal with. And then from there, you can go in like two different directions, largely speaking. You can either, uh, you know, re-rail and restore the 440, or you can get something off the used market. You don't really have enough loan to do both. Um, if you get a really good deal on something, you could, in theory, buy a new locomotive, quote unquote new, buy a locomotive off the used market, and then use the bump that you get in the loan maximum from that to buy the crane, to take on more loan to buy the crane. And then, re-rail the 440. Something that, if you're really lucky, you can do, and this happened in my LRP with Minnetonka is Pain video. If you get really solid rolls on the used market, you can sort of chain your purchases. You can buy something and then use the boost in loan you get from that to buy something else, and then use the boost in loan you get from that to buy something else. If you end up rolling a really really high value locomotive for wicked cheap on the used market, you can use that to leverage your loan. Something else that you can do is something else that you can do in theory is buy stuff off the used market to sell at interchange. It usually will get you a lot less money, but it's still doable. If you get really lucky. Okay. We're getting further on this. Did we grasp this? I mean, this is still like the work in progress area. We need to do more copy pasting, and then we have the burned area over here. This is Bellington. This is the Twin Cities of Bellington and South Bellington, and their their annexed suburb of Dells. But yeah, I don't know. Should I run this way? Part of me is thinking this runs. So here's our power plant. Part of me is thinking this runs down this way, and then there's something off map where it then comes back this way, because it would serve the water side over there, but it would also serve that. So it'd be kind of neat to have it just sort of off in the distance. Oh, unfortunately, the physical pick list is here. The thing that I do not want is I do not want power lines that are right up near the railroad like that. I don't want the high voltage lines to be right near the railroad. I want them to be, in the distance. So like over something like that. Do you have any idea what the longest starter log siding is that isn't a pain in the neck? L2. I would say L2. The thing is, I have not looked at any of the new ones. Like I know L2 because it's Connolly L2. Sorry, I should have specified Connolly. I know Conley L2 because it's the one that can fit all 8 log cars right off the bat. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the smartest choice, but it's right there. I find it hard to believe that it's not. The thing with LRP is you've got so many options, though. When I get Railroad, my first session is just going to be the boys are back in town, bite and Lizzie, and repeat the entire session. Yeah, there are a lot of options when it comes to logging in LRP, like too many options really. L3 is not bad. It can fit 7 ACL log cars. That's 6 logs per car. Yeah, you have to put them up on the other end. It's not the end of the world to have to deal with that, but it does mean going all the way up, Connolly. L2, at least, you only have to go about halfway up. Or, well, as far as largest railroad possible is concerned, it's nowhere close to all the way up, but it's a ways. It's a ways in comparison. There we go. Let's see if we can finish this. Yeah, because there's logging up Kamari. Not much though. There's like one little log track that doesn't give you much. I don't even know if it's enough to do. I don't know if it's enough to do Whittier Sawmill Tier 1. And I don't know if that's a steeper run than. I don't know if that's a steeper run than going up Connolly. Connolly, for all its faults, is a pretty reasonable branch line. I'm gonna have to height bump this because this is not super helpful. I just need to push this up to the edge here, up to the point where it starts pulling down along the edge, because I really don't want anything here lower than this elevation, because water should not be pooling up here. Water would not be pooling up here. And then we're gonna have to, smooth that out with the plateau tool, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah, the stuff of Kamari. There's of course stuff a little further afield. There's like the logging spurs at Soko Creek and Wrights Creek, I believe, where you have to take the team track cars on like day 2 or whenever. But that's a little ways out. That only makes sense to me if you are going to relocate your switcher. It only makes sense to me really if you are relocating your base of operations to Ravenford, which is a viable strategy. It's definitely a thing you can do. I have never tested it myself. I've never tried to do it myself, but Ravenford gives you a bigger yard and bigger facilities right off the bat. There's the only reason to stay in East Whittier really is familiarity, and the fact that if you've only got the one switcher, then you don't have anything to switch Ravenford when you get up there. Or you move your switcher up there, and now you don't have anything to switch East Whittier with. But East Whittier, the only sort of litmus test for switching East Whittier is, do you fit in the spur? Which you can fit a road engine and 5 cars in there. Passenger Trade made it to Bryson with 0.2 tons of coal. Very good. This looks good, actually. I like how this came out. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I am kind of tired. I'm running out of motivation, and I need something to drink and probably something else to eat. And I would like to lay down. So, Deltarune, but it's Trainz. If you don't know the game, look it up. It's very cool. Thank you for the recommendation. I've heard of Deltarune, but I don't really know anything about it. But thanks to everyone for coming around tonight. I know the streams have been a little spotty, but I'm trying my best. There's going to be no Terminus podcast this weekend, but still keep sending us links in the Discord, in the Terminus News channel. That would be great. We always love to see news from people. And, I'll see you next week. And wish Gloria an early birthday. This is the Admiral, signing off.